Hey all! So today is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow is the 1st. Now I, of course, am stuck at home because my wife, being a chef, is very busy tonight and in fact will be working tomorrow. In fact, the joy of joys, it's almost 5 o'clock here in the North Shore of Boston and she'll be getting off work in about 4 hours. Now, she then has to come back to work 8.5 hours later at 5:30 in the morning. So I'd love to stay up till midnight with her. Maybe we'll go down to Boston Harbor, watch the show, maybe Copley Square, watch the show. The Boston Harbor show got canceled. Um, then that would be great. But we can't because we got to get up at 3:30 in the morning to take her to work because she's going to be working a 12 to 14, 16 hour. It's going to be a long shift. So anyway, happy New Year's Eve. I hope you enjoy yourself. For those of you stuck tonight in Times Square, I feel for you. Anyway, so today's video is called, what did I put? Let me look here in my note. Yes. Billy called me a poopy head. And you say, what does that mean? Well, you probably dealt with kindergartners, and a kindergartner will turn. Say, Cindy the kindergartner turns and goes, Billy, you're a poopy head. And you catch her, Cindy, you can't call Billy a poopy head. That's not okay. And Cindy says, but Billy called me a poopy head. And you say, I don't care if Billy called you a poopy head. Then you can't call him a poopy head. Well, that's not fair. It wasn't okay when he did it. Why is it okay when you do it? Well, because he did it. But I told him he was bad then. Yeah, but he did it anyway. Well, I couldn't stop him till he did it. You know, he knew it was bad. He did it anyway. I told him not to. Now you're doing it. It's bad when you do it. Now, we know this. We see this behavior in adults when it's basically the behavior of kindergartners. Now, let's expound on that. Take it any political, social, religious, whatever discussion that boils down to basically one person calling another person a poopy head. And you say, dude, don't do that shit. And they say, why? They did it to me. Well, that's not okay. Well, but they did it to me. But it's bad behavior. Okay, this is about bad behavior. This isn't about equality in bad behavior. If bad behavior is bad, it's bad. Now, many oftentimes people don't want to acknowledge this. They know it, but they don't want to acknowledge it because they don't want to acknowledge. Sorry, my neck was short. That they have been bad. So you can then expound on this. What if at some point you called someone else a poopy head? You're a poopy head. Fast forward a while later, and whatever happened, maybe you got called on it, maybe you didn't, whatever. It wasn't good when you did it, and you know that. And you then say to somebody, hey, don't call them a poopy head. And they go, but you called Kevin a poopy head. And Kevin cried, and there was all this stuff. And you go, yeah, well, it wasn't okay when I called him a poopy head, and I was acting badly. Oh, but you got away with it. Well, it doesn't matter if I got away with it or not. It's not okay. And so this is a video basically on those ideas of that it is not just because somebody calls you a name doesn't mean you can call them back a name. Just because someone once called someone else a name doesn't mean that same someone can't go, hey, I was wrong, and call someone out on it. Now you're going to see this a lot in behavior. And how does this work with Asperger's syndrome? You're asking, well, this is a generalized statement on behavior of the whole species. Now, I will call someone out on being an asshole or on doing something stupid, and they may watch this series, and they'll say, but in this video, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, and I was an idiot. Or, oh, well, you said you did this in the past. Oh, well, I'm an idiot. It's how can this be bad? If a guy steals a car and goes to prison, how is it not okay for him to come up and say, look, dude, don't steal cars? If he goes up and goes, hey, don't steal cars, or let's say he stole cars and got away with it. It was still a crime, but he got away with it. And he goes, look, dude, don't steal cars. I saw what happens. It's not good. I was wrong. I thought it was okay. It's not okay. Don't do it. And they go, oh, well, you stole cars and you got away with it. And, oh, that's the point. They got away with it. which means it was bad behavior. You don't get away. Well, actually, you can get away with good behavior because Anyway, we all know that acting good can sometimes still get you punished. Do the right thing. The reward for good work is more work. That kind of thing. But that's not how it should be. That is how it is. The point is that bad behavior is still bad behavior, whether or not you get away with it. And so a car thief says, "Hey, don't steal cars. It's bad. It has bad impacts." You shouldn't turn to them and go, "Yeah, but you stole cars." No, they know. They have first-hand experience. They are almost a preeminent, not authority. In fact, I would say that the one above them is the guy whose car he stole. The victim. The victim probably knows better than anybody how awful it is to have a car stolen. Second to that is the thief who gets to watch the whole thing. I would say these two are like experts. So if they both sit down and say, "Hey, listen, you shouldn't steal cars," and you point, "Well, yeah, but other people steal cars." What you're trying to do is you're trying to say, "I'm not a bad person." And when people try to excuse it by saying, "But the other guy did it," what they are conflating is the two ideas. One, that they are a bad person, and two, that they did a bad thing. They believe that because they did a bad thing, they're a bad person. That's not necessarily true. They could be a bad person. They could be a good person doing a bad thing. People screw up. And the reason I bring this up is I'm seeing over and over and over in today's political climate, and I like to keep politics out of my series, although November 8th I screwed up on Twitter. I apologize. But we do see this a lot. And the reason why this is going to come up is Aspies need to communicate. And this series is a lot about Aspies and neurotypicals communicating. So here's a beautiful example of neurotypicals on one side on the left side and the right side, and they're talking past each other. And they're not, and the people in the middle going, "Well, you're right, and you're right," and they're both turning on it because somebody on the far left, anything right of them, even a little bit, is far right of them, and on the far right, anything left of them is far left of them. And that's why I think I may have shared a meme saying the political, religious, and social justice yardstick, because you're either with us or evil. And it was a picture I made of the last inch of the first inch and the last inch of a yardstick glued together. So it's a 2-inch yardstick. There's nothing in between. There's only either end. And so what you get is these people basically saying, "What I do is bad. What I do is okay because the other guy did it and he's evil. So if you're calling me on it, then you must therefore be okay with him doing it." Nobody ever says that. I'm okay with so and so doing it, but you shouldn't. What they're just saying is you shouldn't do that. There's no, and it's okay for the other guy. It's just you shouldn't do that. So when I call people out often enough, I'm not calling them out saying it's okay for others to do it. It's not okay for you. I'm saying it's not okay for you. End. That's one complete concept. It's don't punch people for no reason. Don't kick people in the crotch for no reason. Don't steal somebody's food for no reason. You see, these are, I think calling someone a poopyhead or whatever version thereof might be useful. If you're like, they won't listen to you and there's a train about to hit them, you could say, "Hey, you're an ugly poopyhead," and they'll go turn around and walk towards you. "Are you calling me a poopyhead?" Train misses them. And like, "Yes, I am. Your life is saved. Have a nice day." Oh, whatever. But the point is that if someone acts badly and you act badly too, then their acting badly does not justify your acting badly. What you do is bad without that other person in it, we just take what you're doing and call it and look at all what's happening and go, "Okay, what you do is bad." You can't point to somebody else in the past and go, "Well, they did it too," and be justified. So anyway, and by the way, the flour, the marking right here, the white on my shirt, making bread. So y'all have a good week, and remember, just because Billy called you a poopyhead, Cindy, doesn't mean it's okay for you to call Billy a poopyhead. Take that into life, and suddenly you'll see a whole bunch of adults acting like kindergartners. Have a good week.